another race here in Tier 2. We'll be starting in just a second. We're waiting for everyone to join up, and then we'll get going with the lobby. I think it's just one person we're waiting for now. It's just Tito, man. So, yeah. Oh, yes, that's the other thing. Rick, are you up to speed with all the name pronunciations? I think the only difficult one really is Tito, man. It's not Fido or Fido, it's Tito.
I'll try my best. I'm pretty good with names in general, so.
Alright, cool, no worries then. But yeah, other than that, it's fairly simple. Right, let me post the stream link. Tito, man, where are you?
Tito.
Commentator streams. There we go. Tito Man is still not here. Hello, Lifebelt. What's Rick doing there? He is my co-commentator today, Lifebelt.
Indeed I am.
So, yeah. Just to make sure, Rick, say something, and Lifebelt, say if you can hear Rick.
Hi.
He can hear you, fantastic. He called you a washed commentator plus ratio, so...
Haven't heard him say anything.
How can he be washed? He hasn't even commentated yet.
Life out. Then again, I haven't even ever heard your voice, so I don't think you can say anything.
Yeah, I have done that. Okay, cool. Alright, we'll just wait a few more seconds and then we'll go, I think. Tito Man can join during quali if he makes it. Let's go. Alright. About to get started for the Australian Grand Prix. Can't watch the whole race, I got a test tomorrow, so I have to go learn. Oh, imagine prioritising school over APPF1, I can't believe it.
Could have been me.
Alright, so we are here in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. And round 6 of 12. We're nearly halfway through Tier 2 season number 5. And Lalo Mado has left the session. Hopefully he can get back in. But yeah, sponsored by Positive Perception Media Design Products. As always, please check out their socials. Give them a follow. Give them some likes on their posts. They make amazing sports car liveries. And we're very glad to have them with us. But we are here in Melbourne. We've got a strong grid size today, which is always nice, and I'm looking forward to what is sure to be an interesting race, shall we say, especially with my new co-commentator for this evening. Sumo is out for a few weeks as his Wi-Fi is still having issues, so I have deployed our resident Dutchman. It's Rick. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Very excited for today, especially. First time commentating, which I have been wanting to do for a little while now, and very happy I get to do this.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I think it's always nice to have someone with you in your first foray into commentating, because it's always it's a daunting prospect on your own. So I'm glad we can give you your first go at it, and I'm sure you'll do absolutely fine. But do you have any thoughts on the Tier 2 Championship at the moment with as the drivers go out on their outlaps? We've got a bit of time to talk about the state of play. Pommy Alex, of course, our championship leader at the moment by quite some distance after a few mistakes from Muhiti in the last few weeks, and Lawrence not turning up last week's race. So any passing thoughts about the championship? I know you've been sort of keeping a side eye on it.
It's Pommy Alex has looked very strong so far, and coincidentally, he is leading the current pack on track on his outlap. Lawrence and Muhiti are also very strong title contenders, I have to say. And just looking at the standings now, Lawrence actually 7th. Okay, it's very close from P2 to P5, or it's P6. Only 14 points between them, which can be very tough to...
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Sorry to interrupt you, but Pommy Alex has gone for a spin at turn 1. We said that it was possible that people would spin at turn 1. He's got to be careful not to get disqualified here. He does have to turn around pretty soon. He doesn't want to get into the way of anyone, of course. He has managed to avoid getting disqualified, which is always nice to see, but because of that, we'll instead ride on board with not Lawrence, because he's invalidated. Who else is there?
Muhiti is on a lap, but oh, there's an Aston in the way.
That's Henry off the track, yeah. So we'll ride on board with Muhiti. It's currently sitting P2 in the championship, quite a way back from Pommy Alex after a few turbulent weeks, whereas Pommy Alex has been very consistent this season so far. Jamie F1's retired from the session already.
And Muhiti's invalidated.
Qualifying ban. That was
true.
Yeah, good that he's done that. So Jamie F1 will be starting from the back today. He does have a quali ban, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Muhiti invalidating through turn 12. So is anybody going to be able to set a lap on their first runs? At the moment, it doesn't look like it. Who is out on track? Lalo Mado's out on track in the Haas. There's also Get Carter, one of our newbies this season. Well, he is our newbie today. This is his first race with APPF1, so always good to root for the newbies. Hope he does well today. He's in an AlphaTauri. He's taken a permanent seat, and he might well be the first one to set a lap today. He's coming across the line now. I think Scaparo might actually get there first. Yeah, he does. A 21.2, and Get Carter beats that straight away with a 19.5. So he goes into provisional pole, and then Lalo Mado beats him by over a second. He has looked extremely strong as the reserve driver in Tier 2. And there is the initial pace, an 18.5 from the Haas driver.
Yeah, and of course, Tier with a 20.244. It's a decent lap, but of course not really at the time of Lalo, who has spun indeed. Oh, that's very close.
LB has gone into P2. He's 8 tenths down on Lalo, but he's our reigning Tier 2 champion. But he was off to Tier 1 for this season, and it hasn't worked out too well for him, unfortunately, and he's been struggling to make it to Fridays. So we've given him a chance back in Tier 2, see how he does. Yeah, he's currently sitting P2, but quite a way off. Muhiti beats him by 3 tenths, and then Henry beats both of them by another 2 tenths for Muhiti, but still Lalo sits on provisional pole. But an impressive opening lap from the Aston Martin driver.
Yes, indeed. Just trying to look for people who haven't set a lap. JBS Steve on the lap. He's coming through turn 9 and 10 now, onto the back DRS straight. Into turn 12, I believe that is, and then
I think it's turn 13. I think.
Forgot to track. Got a track map actually. I'll check it.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, no wait, that's yeah, it's turn 11. So
turn 11. Oh, yeah. Okay, we were both wrong.
Yeah, the king to the right, down the straight there, isn't actually a corner.
Okay, that makes sense. Lalamado left the session again, so his game is having some issues at the moment, which is unfortunate for him. JBS Steve continues his poor run of form in qualifying as of late. He's currently sitting P10, well off the pace. Crows are also well off the pace in P9. I'm sure they can both improve. Our championship leader, Pommy Alex, is currently sitting P7 as Lawrence goes very deep into turn 3. Obviously hasn't quite gotten to grips with the braking zone there yet. He obviously running with no line for this championship. But yeah, it's interesting to see how some people aren't quite in the positions that we are expecting them to be. Femi Fussmaster's got himself into P6, so that's a decent opening lap from him as well. I think everyone's sort of on out laps at the moment and just sort of in the pits, changing their strategies and then coming back out again. Cello KRT in the Alfa Romeo is a man we haven't seen for a while. It's great to see him back on track, and hopefully he can have a good race back after a little bit of a break. And onto the DRS straight now he comes to begin his lap.
Yeah, and as we go into turn 1, you really want to get onto the grass there for the inside. Really go to the line at the exit of turn 1 or just turn 2. As he locks up into turn 3, that's gonna cost him a bit of time. Into turn 4, stay with one wheel on the inside line, because this game does not like turn 4. And 5th through turn 6 actually, maybe even 7. I don't know actually.
Well, this is looking like a decent opener from Cello KRT for now. Lawrence did set his lap, so I think he's going again. So we'll keep an eye on his sector times. As the Alfa Romeo driver now coming through sector 2, 17.9 through sector 2. It's not bad. He's not far off the pace. As Get Carter's retired, he has crashed into the wall at turn 2, it looks like. I don't know if you can get a view on that, Rick. I'm still on board with Cello KRT, but the Alfa Romeo driver coming to the line, but Get Carter will not go any faster in this session, unfortunately. And he may find himself dropping down the order as everyone else improves. Cello KRT into P8 for now.
Yeah, I did manage to get a view of that. He's backwards on the track and right in the middle of the road. So that must have been a nasty crash. And something from Cello KRT's lap I did notice. I might suspect he's used hot lap on his out lap.
Oh, did he not have enough ERS at the end?
He had like 12% into turn 11.
Oh wow, very. So yeah, must have forgotten to turn it off on the outlap. It has been a long break for him. I don't blame him. But yeah, I'm sure he can go faster than that. Then that will probably have cost him around half a second, I would have thought. So he's definitely in the conversation for the top 4 places as Muhiti goes a good sector 1.5 tenths clear of his previous best, and now into sector 2. Used to be a chicane here, kind of, that you had to brake for, but they completely reprofiled it. It's now a very long straight on the run to what is going to be turn 9 and 10 now. And he invalidates at turn 10 again, so Muhiti struggling to find the limit in Australia without going over the white line on the edge of the track. So yeah, he's going to have to go again. LB is currently on a lap as well, I believe. A lot of drivers on laps actually, so I'm going to keep an eye on the timing screens to see who's improving.
LB's validated, so that's costing him a lap.
Yep, so he won't be able to set that lap. Femi Thrustmaster has improved. 3 tenths through sector 1 he gained. And Pommy Alex 4.5 tenths through sector 1, so we'll keep an eye on him as well as Femi Thrustmaster comes across the line to complete his lap. How far is this going to bump him up the grid? Up to P3! Brilliant lap from Femi. And back to Pommy Alex as well, because he is coming across the line now. It's going to be close for pole, actually. A 19.0 into P4 just behind Femi. So very close times there in the sort of upper midfield. And championship leader onto the second row.
Yeah, beats his teammate.
Yeah.
By just under half a tenth.
Yeah, very interesting to see that, because Muhiti has generally had the better of Pommy in qualifying this season, although last week Muhiti was well off the pace in France. He did not enjoy that Paul Ricard track at all. Whereas Pommy, I believe, was either P1 or P2, I think, on in qualifying there. So he, yeah, he's on a really good run of form as the Australian, and here in his home Grand Prix, he's looking to outqualify his teammate yet again.
Yes, indeed. I'm just on board with JBS Steve, who has just started a lap, and it's 4 tenths up in the first sector. So that's a good first sector for him. Into the very short second sector, which in my opinion could be extended just a bit to somewhat after the chicane, just to have it be a little bit longer. And this third sector is very, very long.
He's gained a little bit more time as well through sector 2. He's now 5 tenths clear, but he needs another half a second to even gain any positions. That is how far off the pace that first lap of his was. So round he comes through the final few corners now, and the Mercedes is going to need a monumental improvement in sector 3 to get himself into the top 10 as he has a slide out the final corner, just about catches it, but that's not going to do his lap time any favours. He does get into the top 10, so a big improvement still. But he'll still be disappointed to be down in P10. LB, I believe, just came across the line. Is he starting a lap? Well, if he was starting a lap, he's just invalidated it at turn 2. So more struggles for LB on his sort of re-debut back into Tier 2. As Henry is also on a lap, keeping an eye on him. Muhiti was improving, but made a huge mistake in sector 3, and that was his lap done. So I'll keep an eye on Henry for now.
Yeah, Lawrence on the lap as well into turn 3. He's on an in lap and just went third with an 18.989.
Wow, great call. He was looking poor so far this qualifying, but look at that. The former championship leader back to his best, P3 for him, and he will be very, very happy with that. Lalo Mado's in the pits currently. Henry is just about to complete his lap. He wasn't improving in sectors 1 or 2. Can he make it up in the final sector and challenge Lalo Mado for pole position? Across the line he comes, and he does get pole. Wow. What a final sector from Henry. Purple by a mile. 4 tenths faster than his previous best sector 3. and massively makes up for the poor first two sectors, and he will be delighted to be on pole. He said that he had no chance today. He was really not enjoying this track, and now here he is on pole position, so he's going to get a right earful in the Discord, I'm sure.
Just on board with Scaparo, and he locks up into turn 1, and he's aboard his lap, of course. Cello KRT is on a lap. I believe, or he's on an in-lap. Can't see from... No, he's on an in-lap.
Yeah, I believe it's an in-lap, yeah.
Same for Muhiti, probably, unless...
Muhiti, I think he's gone round again to start another lap. So I will keep on board with the Ferrari, sitting P2 in the championship. He is 1.5 tenths clear of his previous best in Sector 1. So he's looking good to find his way further up the grid. And but look how close those times are between P3 and P6. All 4 drivers within 0.08 of a second or so. So it's very, very close between them. Muhiti invalidates again at the same corner. He's going to be absolutely furious at himself. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to get in the pits and start another lap. It's going to be very tight. 2 minutes 17 to go. And a lap around here about 1 minute 20. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, it'll be very close. Of course, the oh, he's going again.
He's going again on those worn tires. So this will be a tough ask to improve on 1 lap old tires, because those softs do die pretty fast around this track. As he comes around turns 1 and 2 now, DRS open. We'll see how he does through Sector 1. There's other drivers on laps as well. I am keeping an eye on the timings, as Pommy Alex has gone 2.5 tenths faster in Sector 1. So we've definitely got to keep an eye on him. Tier as well improving through Sector 1. But he spins at turn 10, and that will cost him that lap time. Sort of half spins rather, as Muhiti still improving. Sector 1, 2.5 tenths, even better than Pommy Alex. So the 2 Ferraris really duking it out for possible front row starts here. This is going to be really interesting between the top 2 in the championship right now.
Yes, indeed. Of course, Pommy Alex now coming into turn, I believe, that'll be 13. Into 14. He'll come across the line to set a 1 minute 18.7.
Oof. Close but no cigar for the Australian. He will not be on pole today, but what about his teammate Muhiti? Was improving again through Sector 2. Can he put it on a shock pole position? He's got no ERS left. That's going to really cost him on the final straight, and it did. He lost 3 tenths there for a lack of ERS, and he is not going to be happy with that. He definitely could have been in the conversation at least to beat his teammate into P3, but he will be P4 for now, and Lawrence has just started a lap, so he could unseat both of them at the moment. Lalo Maddo also on a lap, and I'm just looking at the timing screens to see when he sets the first sector.
Lawrence is crashed.
He has pushed it too hard through Sector 2, and he will not be improving. Femi's been disqualified for driving the wrong way. No, no, no. That's so unlucky. He does not deserve that at all. He's had a fantastic qualifying, but he will be starting from the back. Who else is improving? Spartan Keith has gone... LB, sorry. It says Spartan Keith on the thing. Has gone purple in Sector 1. So keep an eye on the reigning Tier 2 champion. Can he put it on pole again? Henry has finished his lap, so he hasn't improved. But LB invalidates through turn 10, and he will not be improving. P7 will be the best for him. Crows is also invalidated. JBS Steve is not on a competitive lap time. Scaparo also no. QB is not on a lap. It's all down to Lalo Maddo as he comes through the final corner.
He'll come across the line to set a 1 minute 18 pole.
Oh, he's done it. He's stolen pole position from Henry right at the death. And it's another pole for the Tier 2 reserve driver.
What's that, 3 in a row now?
I think it is. He's absolutely dominant in qualifying. Lawrence has he's just retired in the pit lane.
And Scaparo lost car on a lap, but he's invalidated, so he'll be on another
Yeah,
lap.
so that is our grid. The two Ferraris on the second row, the two championship contenders. That's going to be very interesting to see. I cannot wait for this race start. It's going to be, I don't want to say it's going to be chaos, but it is Australia. It has the potential to cause some mayhem at turns 1 and 2. I really hope they can all get through cleanly, but one mistake and everyone behind you is all over. So it's they've really got to be careful through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah. Of course, this track very, very narrow, and coming into turn 3, it is a heavy braking zone, so we might see some moves there.
Yeah, we certainly might, especially on lap 1, people jostling for position. I'm sure we'll see a lot of people going side by side. But for now, this is our grid. Lalo Mato will start on pole position yet again, with Henry alongside on the front row. He'll be delighted with that, but disappointed he couldn't get pole in the end. Pommy Alex and Muhiti, the two Ferraris, line up on the second row. Very, very interesting, with Lawrence right behind them as well. Tier in P6, decent for him. LB, Get Carter, Crozer and JBS Steve make up the top 10, and then Cello KRT, Scaparo, QB, Lil Manny Man, and Jamie F1 at the back. And then, unfortunately, Femi Thrustmaster was disqualified from the session unfairly, but that's Codemasters.
Yeah, and the classic Codemasters, just robbing people of potentially very good places in the races. But anything can still happen. He could still win the race, if for all I know.
Yeah, you know, anything can happen. We saw Lawrence almost win Miami from pretty much near the back of the grid, if I remember rightly. So anything can still happen in this race. Just correcting my grid on my timing screen. There we go. Okay, so we're about to get underway. Remember, no formation laps, so we're going to be straight in to the action. Leave your podium predictions in the comments, but you haven't got much time to do it. 3, 2, 1, and we're getting underway for the Australian Grand Prix. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Australian Grand Prix. It's a great start from Lalo Mato, a very bad start for Henry further back. He's already dropped to Muhiti. Pommy Alex is getting past as well. He's dropping positions left, right and centre as the Aston Martin. Someone's gone very deep into turn 1, 3 cars in fact, and they're all losing positions here. It's a terrible start for Henry, but he's trying to make amends. Muhiti's gone to the back. I don't know what's happened to the Ferrari. I didn't quite see, but Pommy Alex is into P2. Lalo Mato keeps the lead. Henry and Get Carter side by side. As the AlphaTauri has a mini spin, Jamie F1 finds his way through from the back, but no, he's gone for a spin and he's taken Get Carter out with him. That's so unlucky for the newbie, and there was nothing either of them could do about that. It was just an unfortunate incident there. Jamie F1 with a ton of oversteer. Lil Manny Man's out as well, and it's a chaotic start to the Australian Grand Prix as Jamie F1 and Get Carter in a really unfortunate incident there. I really feel sorry for the newbie. He did not deserve that. But I don't think Jamie F1 could really do anything about it. Got a huge kick of oversteer, and that was it. Safety car is out, so we get a chance to catch our breaths, Rick.
Yeah. That was very, very hectic. And so far it's still a Haas one. It's still a Haas sandwich for the entire field, which Femi did not get away for like 10-15 seconds for that start. He was stationary in the grid for the.
Oh wow! Okay. So
yeah.
I don't know what's happened to him, but he'll be glad to see the safety car in that case, as he catches back up to the rest of the pack. Jamie is into the pits. I'm going to turn on tyres so we can see where everyone starts on. Lalo Mato has started on the hards. Lawrence has started on the softs. That's even more interesting, as he's going to be on a very different strategy to most. In fact, well, to everyone really, because almost all the grid on mediums, Lalo Mado, LB, and Femi, the only ones starting on the hards. Scapper and Crows are already with penalties. Are those drive?
Those are 5 seconds for contact.
Okay. Okay. So that'll be unfortunate. They'll have to serve those in the pit lane, whether they were fair or not. But we do have the safety car out. And let's have a quick look at the grid order. Henry in P4. He, after his awful start, he dropped so many positions and then regained them a couple after turn 1, but couldn't quite find his way back past Lawrence. I'm going to see position changes. There we go. So Jamie F1 had an absolutely outrageous start to begin with before his spin. But yeah, that was that was the end of that. Got a bit too overexcited through turn 5, and that was game over for Get Carter, who was caught in the crossfire, unfortunately. We got Scapper up for, QB up for as well, just avoiding the carnage, but Muhiti, our championship challenger, down to P12 off the grid. He is going to be fuming and very much ready to make up all those positions again. I know he's got it in him, but it's very difficult around a track like this, especially when he knows his championship rival and teammate is sitting in the top 2.
Yeah.
Lost the car and hit me into a wall.
Oh, just got a message from someone saying Jamie lost the car and just hit me in a wall. I believe that's from Get Carter, I reckon.
Yeah, it must be.
Emoji face with tears of joy.
I do have text-to-speech on, which I should probably turn off.
Well,
yeah, I'll do that. I can do that now, actually, now that there's a safety car, so...
Yeah, good opportunity to do that. But yeah, not really anything that Get Carter could do about it. And not really anything Jamie could do about it either. I'm sure he'll be mortified to be the one that took out the newbie on his first race. But yeah, it's... Oh, as Lalo nearly goes into the wall under the safety car and does go into the wall. He does! It's a disaster. He's done a George Russell. He's in the wall. He hasn't... everyone's been forced to give him back the places, but he will have to pit. I don't know if Pommy Alex also forced to let him back through, but Lalo will have to pit. He's got no front wing on that Haas, and I don't know how he's managed that. The hard tyres, obviously really difficult to warm up, but not that hard. And the safety car's in this lap just to add insult to injury. He's going to drop all the way to the back when he pits. And Pommy Alex is going to inherit the race lead, looking for a second win on the trot. Right.
That's yeah, Pommy Alex in prime position now for his home race win. Something I cannot relate to, unfortunately. Maybe on Sunday, but if you let me. But okay, we'll yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Lalo, of course, straight into the pit lane. Pommy Alex will now be the leader for this restart, and he's off. He's off.
It's a bad restart. Lawrence is right on his inside up to turn 1, and Lawrence taking the opportunity here. They're side by side into the first corner, but Lawrence backs out in the end. He is not willing to risk his race for that, as Henry tries to sit in and watch and wait for something to happen as well. But here comes Lawrence round the outside of the Ferrari. There's carnage happening further back, a bit of wheel banging between them, but Lawrence and Pommy both through safely. There's a lot of swapping of position further back, but we've got to keep an eye on this because Lawrence still right on the back of this Ferrari. He's got the soft tyres as Henry goes very deep, and so does Tia, and Tia loses the car. Managed to save it, but loses a couple of places in the process. And Lawrence trying to utilise those soft tyres. Here he comes again. He's going to go round the outside, which is going to turn into the inside. I think this move is going to be done. Yes, it is. The Alpine up into P1 on those soft tyres. And Pommy Alex is just going to have to try and follow him as best he can.
Of course, Lawrence on the softs will, of course, have that tyre advantage. And the grip difference between the softs and the mediums is so big. Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive on this track. Until the softs go, because they do go quite quickly around here. So I'm watching to see when that pace starts to dip, or when the mistakes start coming. We'll know that those tyres are not in good shape. But Pommy is now under pressure from Henry as they come into turn one side by side. Is Henry going to go for it? No, he's going to back out just like Lawrence did the lap before, and sort of live to fight another day, as it were. As they come into turn three, still no move being made from Henry. Brakes very early. He does not want to do a repeat of what he's done earlier in the season, where he braked too late and hit the back of someone. I can't remember where that was, but I'm sure he's done it. As he nearly goes for a spin at turn five, very well held from the Aston Martin, but dicey stuff. Everyone's struggling as Tier gets up into P5 at a very unusual place, and now Crozer's trying to follow him through. JBS Steve could lose 2 places in as many corners, and he does, as the Red Bull up into P6, and Muhitti's trying to find his way through in the Ferrari as well. Could JBS Steve lose another place? No, Muhitti's going to back out of that one, but Cello KRT is, and could they be 3 wide into turn 10? Surely not. As is that Cello KRT who had to back out? Yeah, it was.
Nearly
Femi
did the
does not
signs.
come through. As JBS Steve now up into P6, and Muhitti following him through past Crozer down the inside, but Crozer keeps his foot in and there's a bit of contact. Muhitti keeps it on the track, but very, very close to a disaster there.
Yeah,
as Jamie's retired.
Jamie's retired. Ooh, that could be another safety car. Don't know if it will be though, because it was very. It was. Oh, that's on track actually.
It is on track. Yeah, so
we'll have to see if that gets reported to the stewards.
We will. Muhitti still sticking with Crozer for now. We do have yellow flags, but no safety car for now. Is that Scaparo who's gone for a spin? Yeah, it is at the last corner. But he's still going, so no safety car for that. As Henry slides through turn 6 in his desperate attempt to get past Pommy Alex. He's still trying to stick on the back of that Ferrari and make the move, but clearly some really good pace in that Aston Martin today as he challenges the championship leader. As Scaparo gets himself a few time penalties for corner cutting and retires on track, which I am not happy with, and indeed causes a safety car. I don't know if he lost the car. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he lost the car. He did just spin, so maybe his tyres were still not up to scratch. But that will cause another safety car. We've barely had 2 laps of green flag racing today. Hopefully this will be the last full course safety car of the day.
Of course, not ideal, but from what I saw on Scaparo is he got onto the grass and then lost it, from what I could guess from the minimap.
Lawrence has taken this opportunity to pit for a set of the hard tyres. I'm not sure where he's going to come out. A couple of others pitting as well. JBS Steve and Crozer taking this opportunity as Lawrence out in P8. Is it going to be P9 QBs just coming down the main straight? No, Lawrence stays in P8, and he is in a really good position now if he can get those hards all the way to the end. And I think we're sort of in the window. He will be struggling at the end, but I think that's a good decision from the Alpine. It's a good, well-timed safety car for him off the rapidly decaying softs and onto a more acceptable race tyre, but it will give Pommy Alex the lead.
Yes, and honourable mention, Femi Thrustmaster, P6 after starting P16.
Wow.
Has gained 10 places in just 7 laps.
Yeah, incredible stuff from Femi. And he started on the hards as well, so it's not like he's weaved his way through on the softs. He's just taken advantage of everyone else's errors and made a few overtakes himself, I'm sure. But fantastic start for him, and he's back really where he deserved to be in qualifying. So I'm sure he'll be decently happy with that. But yeah, Lawrence, JBS, Steve and Crozer all in decent positions here on the hard tyres. But as I say, they will be struggling by the end. Femi's hard tyres are on about 17% wear. So we've done, what, six laps? It's more like 5 laps of actual green flag racing, but I'll call it 6, as that's about, well, about maybe 3% a lap. So given 22 laps, let's say on those hards, they'll be around about sort of 65 to 70%, I would say, by the end. So they'll be struggling, but it's not impossible by any means. In fact, it's very much in the realms of plausibility for them. So could be an inspired decision from Lawrence Steven Crozer.
As QB has to replace his wing, unfortunately, and thus drops him to the back.
Well, he will recover to the tail end of the grid at least, thanks to the safety car. But Lalo Maddo is another driver who's going to be very happy to see the safety car in that Haas after the mishap earlier on, shall we say. He is on the hard tyres, which are 4 laps old, so he's going to struggle even more than the 3 who pitted last lap to get to the end, but I'm sure he can do it. He was very, very good at saving the tyres in Spain a few weeks ago, so we'll see what he can do. But at the moment, Pommy Alex in the front of the grid with Henry alongside him, having the race he deserves after last week, unfortunately crashing when he was on for a really good result. So he'll be hoping to get what I believe would be his first podium in APPF1 today.
Yeah. The safety car staying out for... Oh, never mind.
Here we go. QB has caught up to the back. It did look like it would be staying out, but no, we are coming back to green flag racing. So Pommy Alex becomes the head of the grid. He dictates the pace and decides when to punch it. Right on board with Henry to see when the Ferrari goes for it and whether Henry can keep up. LB is right behind as well, looking for blood, as is Tia and Muhiti as well, of course. He'll be very eager to make up a few positions here, as Pommy Alex looks like he's gone. Has he gone? Yeah, he has gone. He's tried to catch Henry out, but Henry sticking with him for now. No spins that I can see. I don't think Henry's going to be close enough to move into turn 1. He just has a little look, but thinks better of that for sure. And everyone cleanly through turns 1 and 2, it seems like.
Henry on the outside of Pommy Alex, and
here we
they
go.
make a bit of contact. Pommy Alex stays ahead, however, and yeah, Henry was really aware on that restart. He's they're on the outside of the front. That's not going to go well.
Side by side through turn 5, surely not. I don't know how they both got through there, but Henry really racy. He wants this race lead right now. He knows that LB's right behind and Tier as well, his teammate. So he wants to make this move and get himself into the race lead for the first time this season, I believe. He's going round the outside, surely not, on the run to turn 9. Here they go, side by side again, but Henry backs out. How are they making it through these corners unscathed? Henry again using the ERS is going to go round the outside at the next corner as well. Pommy Alex blocks him off though. Absolutely slammed that door on the Aston Martin, and Henry has to settle for P2 for now, but that Aston Martin really on the back of the Ferrari.
Yeah, you've got a driver who's in his home race, leading it, and wants to win it. And you've got someone who wants to lead a race in APPF1 for the first time in his short career here.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very much conflicting. Conflicting. No! Contact. And I think Pommy Alex just tried to squeeze too hard on the Aston Martin there, from what I could see.
And
I'm sure we'll see it in the stewards. We do have another safety car, so there's opportunities for them to recover. But that drops Henry to P6. He will be fuming with that. Pommy Alex also without a front wing, so he will have to pit. But I think he was going to pit anyway at this point, as well as his teammate will as well. But yeah, this is really bad for Muhiti, actually. I've just thought, because the Ferrari is going to have to double stack, and Pommy Alex has to change a wing. So Muhiti is in a terrible position here. He's going to have to back off a little bit to try and not lose too much time. But with that front wing change, he is going to lose 6-7 seconds, I would have thought, in the pits. And he's going to probably drop right to the back. So really unfortunate for Muhiti. and that promotes LB into the race lead with Tia in P2. Carnage here in Australia.
Yeah, like you said, not ideal for Mahiti at all there. But someone who this is ideal for, Femi Thrustmaster.
Oh yeah. I wonder if he's going to pit. No, he stays out, as does Muhiti. So Muhiti refuses to double stack there. Probably a wise decision, actually, and that means he will take the race lead with Femi in P2. Tier also pits for the hards. Lawrence is promoted to P3, and he has already pitted, so he's in a fantastic position. Cello KRT also doesn't pit, which is an interesting call. I wouldn't have done that myself, but I'm sure he has. I'm sure he has a plan in mind. Who's that? Ah, Tito. Load shedding in my country. Only 4.5 hours of electricity. Power just came back on. Oh wow. Okay. No worries, man. I am also gutted you couldn't make it today because it's always good to see you on track. But nice to hear from you at least. And hope you can at least enjoy watching the race from the sidelines today. It's been certainly chaotic so far, hasn't it, Rick?
Yeah, it has. The third safety car in just 11 laps already. It's not really been the cleanest of races today, but no. It's for sure been very entertaining.
Yes, that's for sure. And we've got the two drivers who I'm sure are going to appear in the stewards room later on. Now running P11 and 12 after that incident. Yeah, that just looked like to me that tensions were high between the two of them. Both of them wanting to really keep the race lead for different reasons. Henry wanting to be in there for the first time in his APPF1 career. Pommy Alex wanting to win his home race, and it just all went wrong there between the two of them, and they find themselves at the back. On the right strategy, at least they will not have to stop again, but yeah, not ideal at all for them, as Muhiti still in P1. He's not taken the opportunity to come into the pits, so he will be, I reckon, hoping for another safety car, and at this rate I wouldn't be surprised if there was another one, because it has been very, very tricky today in terms of incidents. I honestly, Rick, I really don't think there's been that much dirty driving at all. The incident between the top two there to cause this one was probably a bit questionable, but other than that, I think it's just been people losing it and struggling to stay with other drivers, and obviously Jamie and Get Carter very unlucky at the start. So, you know, I think it's just a really difficult track, Australia, and it's clearly giving Tier 2 a lot of things to think about.
Yeah, like you said, it's not really been dirty driving. It's just more lack of just not realizing the throttle can't be pushed down as hard as on last game.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, I feel like this track is, despite the reprofiling, I definitely feel like this track is harder than last year as well.
Yeah.
But I think the curbs are a little more temperamental, which is not something I thought I'd be saying after last year. But with these cars, I think it can be difficult to judge a lot of the corners. But safety car is in this lap, so I'm going to ride on board with Femi Thrustmaster, as he will be looking to take advantage of a poor restart if that does happen to Muhiti. Gets on the curb a little bit there.
That could have given him a warning.
It could well have done, yeah. He's gone. He's caught Femi Thrustmaster sleeping. Muhiti well in front, a second clear already. And Lawrence now on the back of the Haas is going to make the move into turn one, I think. Those hard tyres really working for Lawrence, but Femi struggling. And into P2 goes the Alpine. Muhiti will be annoyed to see that Femi has lost that position so easily. But a dream restart for him as Crozer goes off the track, as you say. Did you catch what happened, Rick?
I think he just lost it, really.
Oh
That's
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very easy to do at turn one, especially with cold tyres on this track. So all my sympathies to Crozer as Henry now right on the back of QB and in fact hits the McLaren as they come through. A bit impatient from the Aston Martin, trying to get past the McLaren as Pommy Alex gets past as QB goes very deep as well. Is there damage to that Aston Martin? Not according to my telemetry, so he's gotten away with it.
Yeah, very lucky for QB not to spin out and crash into the wall there. As
LB.
JBS and LB, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
wow. Steve going a bit wide and LB taking the opportunity into P6 he goes. And he's on the medium tyres. He'll struggle to get those to the end, but I think that's exactly what he's trying to do. And he is now 2.5 seconds or so behind the pack in front of him and to catch them as quickly as he can.
LB, he'll struggle, like you
Oh,
said.
Tia's
Oh,
gone! Sorry to interrupt, and he's retired as well. He's
oh
just spun it
no.
on his own in the final corner. That's another safety car.
Guys.
Oh my word. And Cello KRT as well spins in sympathy as the safety car comes out at turn one. And again, it's nothing. There was no dirty driving then. It's just Tia just lost it, and
Yeah.
it's caused another safety car. So it's really difficult stuff for those two. QB and Cello KRT have gotten illegal overtakes. So as unfortunate for them as QB nearly spins into
Yeah.
Crozo under the safety car.
That would not have been a good feeling for QB if he did in fact spin, as he's off the track now. And
Yeah.
that's a penalty under safety car. That's not what you want. That's the first track limit penalty, actually.
It is. Well, to be fair, they haven't had many opportunities
Yeah.
to get warnings.
Yeah.
Tier, another DNF for him. He will be gutted with that because we could see from qualifying and from his race pace, he had decent pace today, but just one mistake on this track and it's all over. So just a bit too much throttle and into the wall he went. And causes another safety car, which Muhiti is up in arms about in the Discord. But I think he should be happy about this, to be honest. It means he doesn't lose much time. And in fact, Femi in as well, so he's taking this opportunity. I wonder how far Muhiti's going to drop. He's going to put on a set of the hards, and he's going to go to the end on those. How far is he going to drop? He's going to be behind his teammate, but I think that's as far as he's going to go. P5 for Muhiti. He should be happy with that, I think.
That's a very, very good time to stop for Muhiti, especially. And Femi Thrustmaster only loses one place to QB in the end, I believe, and Crozer.
Yeah, Crozer just about got him into turn one. But he is on the medium, so he'll be very, very quick as we get back racing in the next couple of laps. But Muhiti, perfect for him as well. He's now on fresh hards in P5 behind a bunch of drivers, all on old hard tyres, especially Lalo Mado. His tyres are on 25% wear already, with still pretty much half the race to go. And I know that doesn't sound like much, but we have had a lot of safety cars, so I think he is going to struggle by the end of the race, no matter how much pace he has in that Haas. And Lawrence is also going to have a hard time towards the end, so I think this could be very interesting. And Henry and Pommy back in P3 and 4, the fireworks could continue.
Yeah. LB on the only one on the softs. He'll have to stop again, and hopefully for him under like a virtual safety car or a safety car even. Otherwise he'll not really be getting a good position, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think he's banking on another safety car. I don't blame him, but if it doesn't come out again, he is going to be really struggling as he's going to have to pit again, as you say, before the end. And in fact, he does come into the pits now, so he's realised, hang on, I'm going to have to pit again here if I don't do it now. And he's put on the mediums, which is a much more sensible tyre, and he should be able to get to the end on those, despite them being 4 laps old already.
Yeah. as he didn't have to change his wing, maybe he did for his other stop. It could be just to get that extra lap under the, just to get a free lap under the medium, so the wear is a bit lower.
Could be, yeah. Or maybe he made the decision to go onto softs and then realized it was a bad decision and came in again. I know I've done that before, so I wouldn't be too surprised. One thing I would like to say, Crozer has, according to my telemetry, he has rear wing damage, so he's going to really be struggling in that Red Bull, especially in the high downforce corners through sort of turn 5. He's going to struggle turn 6, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him spin, but hopefully he can avoid that, as the safety car is in this lap. So Lalo Maddo will be the driver I ride on board with now, as Lawrence sets the pace.
Yeah, another thing on Crozer, I did see him hit the wall when he spun with his rear wing, so
right.
that's where it could be from.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Very easy to do. As soon as you hit that wall, your rear wing often gets damaged. It's just how much damage he has, which is going to be the deciding factor for the rest of his race. But here we go. Safety car about to end. Lawrence gets to decide when to punch it. Is he going to catch out Lalo Maddo? He's not gone yet. He's still not gone. On the final corner they come. He is leaving it very late, and he's gone now. He's caught Lalo Maddo in the traction zone, and Henry's under huge pressure from Pommy Alex in the background. Muhiti trying to get a piece of it as well as they come through turn 1. They're side by side again, these two, and Henry goes off. Here comes Pommy Alex now. He's going to have the overspeed. Crozer and QB swapping positions as well, but here comes Pommy Alex down the inside. Towards turn 3 they go. He's squeezing Henry out yet again, and Pommy Alex up to P3. Henry down to P4 and now under pressure from the other Ferrari of Muhiti as Crozer tries to keep on track with them as well. Crozer right behind Muhiti, in fact, but unable to make a move.
Yeah, Muhiti, Pommy Alex and Henry did touch in coming into turn 3 under braking, which somehow didn't put either of them into the wall.
Yeah, it was very, very close between them. Definitely a squeeze given as Crozer nearly goes for it on Muhiti from way far back, and that's a huge mistake. He's gone again, and Crozer all the way down. It's all his own fault, I have to say, as Lalo gets past Lawrence further ahead while we were watching that. Lalo into the lead, Lawrence unable to hold him back, and the Haas driver looking to take another victory this season with Pommy Alex trying to chase them down as well on better hard tyres, with Muhiti as well trying to make up positions and make up ground. But he now has the fast Haas of Femi Thrustmaster behind him, who has medium tyres and is going to be very quick, as LB now right on the back of that Mercedes as well.
Yeah.
Oh, touches the Mercedes, in fact, as they go through turn 2. I think that'll be the place done for LB. Around the outside through turn 3, it's not going to work actually, so well defended by JBS Steve. Gets a bit of a tank slapper though, and LB round the outside. Great move from the Red Bull. Into P7 he goes.
Yeah, Femi Thrustmaster not really making any overtakes despite being on the softer compound. Same for Muhiti. Despite, Muhiti's on the hards and the others as well, but he's on younger hards, which should give him an edge.
Yeah, I think the sort of pace differential is trumping the softer tyres at the moment, with Pommy and Henry definitely the fastest cars on track, maybe bar Lalo Maddo, who's still in front, and Lawrence is now under huge pressure from the Ferrari just behind him, and in fact there's a touch as Pommy goes into the back of the Alpine. Lawrence is spun round. I think Pommy is going to have several visits to the stewards this evening, as he is up into P2, DRS enabled, as Muhiti under pressure from Femi, perhaps into turn 1, not quite, and now Henry right on the back of the Ferrari again. It's deja vu, and well, we have to hope that what happened last time doesn't happen again, as Henry being as cautious as he can, knowing what happened earlier on in the race.
Yeah, not using ERS, surprisingly. It's relatively the same. Pommy's got a bit more. Yeah, as we go into this very long, not straight, but kinky
Yeah.
kink.
Full throttle zone, I
Yeah.
think we'll call it.
Yeah,
As, yeah, Henry has the slipstream. He's not close enough to make any sort of move, but if Pommy goes wide like that, he could be. And much more overspeed on the Aston Martin. Down the inside he goes. Brilliant racing from Henry. Up into P2 he goes, and there's nothing Pommy Alex could do about that one. And Henry inherits P2, but he is going to have to be careful because Pommy will be fighting to get that position back, I'm sure.
Meanwhile, all this battling is happening. Lalo Mado is just pulling away.
Yeah, he is. 1.8, 1.9 seconds or so. He is well in front. Sets the fastest lap, but it's quickly beaten by the drivers behind him. So he will be vulnerable on those much older, hard tyres, I think. He does have definitely the pace advantage in terms of raw pace, but the tyre differential could definitely come into play as he's got the two sort of second fastest drivers on the track right behind him, and then Muhiti on better tyres. So there's still a long way to go in this race for sure, as LB now gets past Lawrence, who is dropping positions left, right and centre after the touch from Pommy. He is down to P7.
Yeah, Lawrence not really having a good restart there. Or restart, just not really a good portion after the restart. Of course, with the spin, and now all the way in P7 after leading at the restart.
Yeah, absolutely right. Pommy Alex has actually lost a lot of time to the back of Henry, so Henry has the better race pace here, and he's chasing after Lalo Mado. He's just got to be careful not to over push here. It's very easy when you think I've got a chance at winning this race to overdo it and spin and lose everything. So he does have to be careful here, the Aston Martin, and in fact he is now losing time to Lalo. I'm not sure how long that will last. Lalo with a 22.2 smashes the fastest lap, and he is easily the fastest car on track. As Cello KRT retires, is that going to be another safety car?
No.
It is a safety car. It was a virtual to begin with, but it was upgraded, and yeah, I think Cello KRT just maybe lost it. I don't think he was battling with anyone, but that's a huge shame for him. And we do have another safety car, and this is going to put strategy well into question here. What do these drivers do? Do they pit for softs? Do they try and stay out and try and to keep the race lead? We'll have to find out. Lalo Mado is going to be the man with the decision, though. He is in the lead. He can't base his decision from anyone else, so everyone will be sort of following what he does, I think, at this point, as QB does come in for the softs.
Yeah, the safety car can really throw a spanner in the works with strategy, like you said. Softs, they'll be very tired by the end.
Yeah.
And maybe mediums could be a good choice as well if you're someone like yeah, no, actually never mind. Don't think mediums
No
would be
worries.
good.
Well, Lalo Mado is in, as is Henry. What about Pommy? Pommy stays out. He will inherit the race lead. Muhiti stays out as well. Both Ferraris, so it's now a Ferrari 1-2. Femi also stays out. Lalo is onto the soft tyres. Henry onto the mediums, which he's already used. So that's I think a poor decision from Henry. Maybe he forgot that he'd already used those, and the game still only gives you one set of mediums.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's going to really struggle to keep the guys on the softs behind him. Everyone behind him now pitting for the softs. So it's going to be a mad dash to the line here. We've still going to have 6 laps to go once the safety car comes in at least. So I think Lalo Mado, you can't really bet against him to win this race on fresh softs. Only P4. No, not really anyone challenging him because he's got Henry just behind on much worse tyres. So yeah, I think wrong decision from Henry is going to cost him a chance at the race victory today.
Yeah. The only one I could see possibly challenging Lalo is LB, and maybe
Yeah.
even Tommy Alex if he can build a gap from his teammate.
Yeah, I think so. The Ferraris have got to work together here if they want to keep everyone behind. It's currently Ferrari, Haas. Obviously Lalo reserve driver, but he will still earn a bunch of points for Haas once again as he looks to take his second win of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Femi Thrustmaster also on those medium tyres. They're going to be better than the hards, but for how long is the question. They're already on 24% wear, but I don't think that's too bad actually. It's not going to affect him too much. Henry comes into the pits. He decides against going on those mediums to the end. He's going to go onto the softs, but he will drop all the way to the back. So he has a fight back on his hands if he wants to get himself even in the top 5 today.
Makes it all the easier for LB to challenge Lalo.
Yeah, it does. LB now right behind the Haas. So Lalo not going to quite have it all his own way here. We are going to have, I think, 6 laps. I think it will come in this lap. So we'll have 6 laps of green flag racing, as long as there's not another one. Touch wood. Yeah, Pommy Alex has got quite the job on his hands to keep everyone behind here. Those hard tyres are going to really be hurting him compared to everyone behind him. And huge risk from the Australian to try and take his home race win.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really much I can say during the safety car.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about under the safety car really at the moment.
I've got something. The double
go on.
DRS zone. What's your opinion on it?
On this track, I think it's okay on this track, just because turn 1 is a difficult corner to overtake into. So I think it's relatively okay. It's not certainly nowhere near as bad as Mexico. That is the epitome of terrible DRS zones, double DRS zones. But yeah, it's I never like to see a double DRS zone, but it's okay around here, I think.
Yeah, as we get back to racing very shortly, of course, with the safety car coming in this lap, it'll be Pommy Alex from Muhiti. So it's a Ferrari 1-2, then a Haas 3-4.
Actually going to ride on board with Femi. I think Pommy's gone already. He has gone already, so he's caught everyone sleeping there. Femi Thrustmaster is going to be under pressure from his teammate on the run to the line. Lalo can't overtake until the finish line, of course. And is he going to go for the move? He's warming up his tyres, actually, so no move made from Lalo yet. But I think into turn 3, the Hasses are going to swap places. Here goes Lalo, right behind his teammate. Henry's retired from the session.
In the pit lane.
In the pit lane. Oh no, disaster for the Aston Martin. After looking like he could be in contention for the race victory, he retires on lap 23. Lalo is into P3, and now he's going to be challenging Muhiti. So it's all about whether he can get up to Pommy Alex before the end, and I think he can. I don't think he's going to have any bother at all to do that, as he soars round the outside nearly of Muhiti. He's going to have another go perhaps into turn 9, not quite. He's not quite close enough. But perhaps into turn 11 he's going to have the superior grip here, but no, great driving from Muhiti to have the overspeed there, and Lalo is not going to have an opportunity yet.
No, he'll certainly
Lawrence and LB make contact further back. Sorry to interrupt you, Rick, but bit of contact between the two. Lawrence into the wall. He does have slight front wing damage, but it's not visible in terms of on the game, so I think he should still be okay, but it will cost him some performance. LB keeps P5 for now, but A bit dicey between the two, as now Lalo Mato still right behind that Ferrari, but unable to do anything. 5 laps to go. Lawrence back past the Red Bull. I think LB might have let him back through there because there was quite a gap between them. So LB, a bit of sportsmanlike behaviour from him as Lalo right down around the outside, tries to switch back on the Ferrari. He tries to go around the outside of 4, but no cigar. Well defended by Muhiti to keep his teammate in the lead. It's brilliant stuff from the Turkish driver as they keep coming through. But Lalo now with the superior overspeed. Round the outside he goes. They're still side by side on this straight. But I think the Haas has got it. I don't think Muhiti can fight this anymore. He hasn't got any ERS left on that Ferrari. And Lalo Mato into P2. 1.3 seconds to Pommy Alex. I think he'll chase that down in no time. And Muhiti gets a 3-second penalty. Oh no!
Yeah, was about to say that. Yeah. Of course, Muhiti just a bit like Charles Leclerc at the British Grand Prix this year. All tyres against someone against fresh and softs, all behind him, and in a Ferrari.
Yeah, he did really well to keep Lalo behind as long as he did, but it was never going to last, as now Lawrence tries to follow through past Femi Thrustmaster. He sets the fastest lap as well. Down the inside goes the Alpine, but Femi keeps his foot in. They're still side by side through turn 2. I think Lawrence has got this. Yes, he does, and LB is going to try and follow him through. The Haas driver shipping positions here. Lawrence up to P4. Can LB make the move? He's still side by side. I think he's going to do it. There's contact between them, but they stay on the track, and they're still side by side. But LB has to back out in the end. Crozer now with a time penalty as LB, again, has to stick behind. And now Lalo Mato right behind Pommy Alex at the front. So how hard is Pommy going to defend this?
Yeah, the two former teammates at Red Bull now almost colliding, actually. It was very close, but yeah, Pommy Alex being hunted and overtaken by Lalo Mato around the outside into turn 11. Oh, that's close.
Oh, brilliant move from the Haas. Into P1 he goes, and I struggle to see any scenario where he loses this race from here. Muhiti now under pressure from Lawrence, but with that time penalty, he is going to drop all the way down to 7th at this rate. Just those 3 seconds are going to cost him so much, and he will be fuming in that cockpit that he's gotten that. Lalo Mato sets the fastest lap in the process as well, and he will be getting maximum points today, I'm sure, as LB and Femi go side by side again. Femi off the track. I don't know if LB caused that or if Femi just over-defended, but regardless, LB up to P5 and a bit of movements with his teammate there, a bit of defending between the two of them, but LB sticks in front, and P5 for him. Femi gets a 3-second time penalty as well, just to add insult to injury.
Yeah, that's Femi Thrustmaster overtaken by both Red Bulls there. As LB gets a penalty now.
So Muhiti actually isn't going to drop that far at all. It will only be Lawrence that he loses a place to now. All 3 of the drivers that didn't have penalties before now have them within a lap. Lawrence braking very late. Actually, I think that's front wing damage, and now he's got a penalty. So Muhiti, after looking like he was going to drop to 7th just 1 lap ago, is not going to drop any places at all as it stands. We're going on to the penultimate lap now, and Lawrence is going to have to fight super hard in order to get past that Ferrari, because those softs are going to be starting to fall away. Yeah, already at 50%, so they're really falling away for the Alpine, and with that front wing damage, he is going to struggle to get into the podium. Lalo Mato with another fastest lap, he is absolutely gone, but Muhiti with a poor line through turn 1. Lawrence can't quite take advantage, he's not close enough.
Yeah, you say that tyres are not really going to make it far.
Oh, as Crozer goes for the move on LB and pays for it. He went for a dive bomb down the inside, and he has paid the price. Down to P8 he goes, and he's only got himself to blame for that one. LB still sitting P5, Femi Thrustmaster P6. JBS Steve is going to gain here. He could gain a couple of positions if he can stick with them. because LB is not that far up the road. It will be tight. I don't think he's going to do it, but he will at least get into the top 6 as it stands. Lawrence still right behind the Ferrari. This is the only real battle to watch. It's for the final podium place. There's DRS in the Alpine, but no ERS to speak of, but neither does Muhiti, so it's a straight fight on pace. LB does have some, but he's going to be at the back of the DRS train, which is going to make it very difficult for him to gain anything here. We're on to the final lap as Lalo comes across the line.
Lawrence nearly spins it at the final corner, just manages to save it.
Now he's vulnerable to LB, who's got ERS. Is LB going to go for it? No, he's going to just leave it and wait for Lawrence to go deep, and that's exactly what he's done. Great racing from LB. Up to P4 he goes, and Lawrence loses a place. They're still side by side, but the Alpine has to concede in the end. Down to P5 he goes, and I think that is where he will stay, as Krozer gets himself another time penalty. Not that it's going to matter for his race. And, well, whoever said in the Discord that we'd have nearly half the drivers DNF today, I tip my hat to you, because you're absolutely right. And again, it hasn't been really it's dirty driving to speak of, a few questionable incidents definitely, but it's just been people really struggling on this Melbourne circuit.
Yeah, it's despite the resurfacing, it's a very tough track to get the traction down.
Yeah, absolutely. As Lalo just proves that by nearly binning it in the final corner, but he will just about come home to take the win. He wins the Australian Grand Prix. Pommy Alex comes home in P2. Muhiti will take P3 in the end, which I think he'll be delighted with after all of that. LB P4. Lawrence will finish in the top 5. Femi down to P7 in the end. JBS Steve did make it up to P6, nearly got into the top 5. Krozer comes across the line just ahead of QB further back, as QB in fact gets him on penalties.
Yeah. That was certainly very entertaining, that race.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very tricky race for a lot of drivers. Henry's not happy in the Discord, but not for the reason I expected, to be honest. Yeah, certainly an unpredictable Grand Prix, but it ended up with Lalo Maddo winning from pole position, which doesn't tell the story at all. He had to fight back several times in this race, and he will finish on the top step for the second time this season. As soon as he gets out in front, he's just absolutely dominant, but he just tends to start on the alternate strategy, which kind of it kind of unsettles him, really. It doesn't help him. If he started on the normal strategy, I think he'd win very easily, but the alternate strategy doesn't help him at the start, and he has to fight his way back. But that is what he did today, and he wins with the fastest lap by over a second from anyone else. So we might have to have some conversations, Rick, about Lalo Maddo in Tier 2. Pommy Alex finishes in second place, with Muhiti in third. Ferrari 2-3, well, pre-stewards. LB will be P4. Lawrence, P5. Could have been a podium for him today, but I think that front wing damage didn't help his cause. JBS Steve, P6. Fairly lonely drive for him, especially compared to everyone else. Anyway, Femi Throssmaster, P7. QB finishes P8 with Krozer, the last of the finishers, in P9, and then Henry, Solo KOT, Tia, Scaparo, Jamie, Lil Manny Man, and Get Carter, unfortunately, all DNFing from the race.
Yeah, that's that.
Certainly is. Amy saying, what a race in my chat. It was certainly an action-packed race in Australia. Only 9 drivers finishing, but I think mostly due to the track being very, very difficult for our Tier 2 drivers, finding it difficult to cope with. But that will be that for the Australian Grand Prix. Do you have anything else to add, Rick?
Nah, just very, very hard fought comebacks from a lot of drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. It was certainly difficult, a difficult race for a fair few, but the safety cars made the race completely unpredictable. It was difficult to see whatever would happen next. But I appreciate all the kind words in the chat, and yeah, Amy's right. We'll see you next time. Thank you to Rick for joining me in the commentary box today at very short notice, so I really do appreciate it, Rick. And I hope you enjoyed your first foray into commentary.
Yeah, I loved it. Loved it. Great race. Not a lot of well, a lot of carnage, but not necessarily very much dirty driving. Like you said,
Yes.
a few times, a few points here and there, but nothing major. Of course, other than Tommy, Alex, and Henry.
Yeah, it's just some unfortunate spins and crashes, really. Who would you say driver of the day is for you? I'll let you pick first day in commentary. So have a think.
There's a few.
Yeah.
But I've made a decision, and it's going to be the man who started on pole, Lalamado. Pole to last to first.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. There's certainly a few drivers that could have it, but Lalo is certainly one of them. So well done to him for a race victory from pole position, which really doesn't tell the story, as you said. So yeah, well done to him. And thank you again to Rick for joining me in the commentary box. We do have a break week next week, so we will not have a race on next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after we will be in Silverstone for the next half of this season. So I look forward to seeing you there. It should be a very fun race to watch, and yeah, very much looking forward to it. And I don't think I have anything else to add, so make sure to check out our sponsor, as I say, Positive Perception Media Design Products. Check them out on their socials, give them a like and follow. They've supported us for a long time, and they definitely deserve your support as well. They make fantastic sports car liveries, so go and check them out. But without further ado, I'll be ending the stream here. I have been Ghost.
And I've been Brick.
Next time for the British Grand Prix in 2 weeks. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.